in order to keep that momentum going instead of just stopping to readjust yourself.
All right, I approve of that thing maneuver particularly, but it's interesting. Kylo suddenly got a huge burst of strength to throw everyone off. Maybe he just braced himself better, and he finally takes advantage of an open opponent by stabbing him through the chest. Oh, see, this is interesting. Kylo here seems to take what looks to be the first guard position we see in this entire fight scene. It's a kind of long point. This what the Imperial Guard is doing here. This is not a guard position. He's holding his fist forward in front of his weapon, leaning the weapon on his forearm. Like, what is this? It's absolutely retarded. This is so stupid. You don't present your hand to your opponent with... Anyone just quickly snipe at the hand and chop off his hand right there. This is so stupid. And like, why? Because it looks cool, maybe to an untrained eye, perhaps, but it is so profoundly stupid. And then we see Rey just doing some hits with the dagger guy. The dagger guy, hang on, did that even touch? We're gonna go frame by frame here. So Rey, her lightsaber is just hit the other dagger, and so she's open on the side, which is of course obvious, and it's good that the Imperial Guard is trying to take
Honestly,
advantage
I
of
think
it.
the reason
So
why this is so epic is because it moves so fast.
Extending forward nearly as far as he can. In fact, he's holding his hand off to the
In
side.
fact, that's the only reason why a lot of people
forward,
didn't
and it doesn't
pick
even
out
look
the
like it's touch. Okay, maybe
as
it's touching
many
here.
mistakes as this
the
guy,
blade portion
because it all
was
moves
close enough
fast.
to do that little cut on her arm, but he's not extending it nearly as forward as he can. I mean, just look at how much further he could extend his arm, yet he's not because he's holding it off to the side so much. And it's like he was aiming for Rey's arm, which is again further to the side. If he just brings his arm in and points it forward, that dagger would be getting rammed right through her stomach. Oh, hang on. Was that a guard position from Rey? Did she actually raise her lightsaber to fend off her opponent? Stay back? Wow, we have a second somewhat type of guard position. By the look of her stance, her footing is wrong. So it's a poorly executed long point, I would call it. Back to Kylo with his somewhat guard position. Now, what's interesting about these so rare guard positions, and look at that guy resting his sword on his hand. What an idiot. But anyway, so he's coming in for an attack now. And oh no, he throws his sword into the whip thing and is going to try and do a whip. Now, Kylo, what happened to your guard position? You've lowered it. You're holding a good guard, a somewhat good guard, a guard that was kind of useful. Why did you lower it, Kylo? Don't do it. He's coming in to attack you. Now the guard position is gone and he just swings around to try and block. What you want to do in many fights is strike from one guard position to another guard position to another guard position. You should start from a guard position and then in a guard position to keep a good defense. You don't want to die. This is why overswinging is so bad, because when you overswing a strike, you leave yourself open. But good controlled sword strikes generally end in another guard position to follow up with another sword strike, usually into another guard position. Kylo, he spins, he blocks the whip, a big flash connection. The whip gets knocked aside, then Kylo's lightsaber got thrown down from the thing, but is leaning low now. So he's leaning low, and again, wow, the spinning, this Imperial Guard closest to the camera, he decides to spin around, have his back face towards his opponent. No, stop it. Stop with the spinning! There are some instances where spinning is actually a viable, proper type of technique, but that is usually when you're employing your weapon in a defensive type action to keep your opponents at bay. So when I criticize spinning, I'm not saying it doesn't exist in historical swordsmanship. Just the type of useless, pointless spinning and pirouettes you see these Imperial Guards doing for no reason, presenting their backs to their opponents, is just ridiculous. Kylo doesn't take advantage. Instead of attacking the guy's open
you
back,
spin to save your momentum
off to the side,
from
and now he
another
decides to bring it up
or to
after the guy
defend against other
to block
people.
the attack.
You don't
Because,
just
so basically,
stand
Kylo was
still
waiting
with
for the
your
attack to
guard
come in,
position
and then he blocks the attack,
and then just
he brings his
spin
lightsaber down to
for
block
no
another
reason.
attack coming in
No.
and try and strike his opponent, knock him at bay. And that was actually kind of a good, powerful strike. At the very least, Kylo here is showing some good physicality in his movements, okay? He's throwing some power, some weight behind it. Look at this. Like, the physical exertion is there on his face, and he throws that attack down with a lot of power. So at least there's that, you know? Whip coming in, misses because he hits right over Kylo's head, and Kylo is ducking down, doing something with this Imperial Guard. The Imperial Guard, did they get a hit on him? It looks like it's almost hit, but no. Oh, Kylo's holding the thing, and he brings that glaive thing to block the other strike. And does he take advantage of the opening? Because the guy's strike just hit the polearm thing that Kylo had grabbed, and so Kylo should be able to just run this Imperial Guard, who's closest to the camera, right through the gut. But does he do it? No, kind of. That's kind of a hit, yet not. It was hard. And now the other guy, he must have been hit or something, because he just was kneeling there for Kylo to strike him right. No, to take off his head. Complete decapitation. Good to see. I don't know why he just let Kylo do that. I couldn't see Kylo strike him to get him to his knees at any point there. So that's a mystery. And now we're back with Rey against the dagger guy, leaning back to escape those daggers, and then she does a big wild swing aimed at nothing. I mean, maybe like she's stressed, she's off on the back foot, and so if you're off balance, okay, I'll give you some leeway there to say when you're off balance, there's a higher chance you'll miss your strike completely. And now she blocks again. So this is another example of the thing I was complaining before about Kylo, where people in fight scenes, they just decide to forget the fact that they're holding a weapon, and they decide to kick or elbow or punch or headbutt, when that means this strike would have connected because there was no guard. Whoever was hit by this blunt attack, boot, elbow, whatever, they were not ready for it. Their guard, they were open, they would have been hit, which means if they decided instead of elbowing and kicking and they used their weapon, they would have struck. And so this guy here, he decides to forget he's holding a dagger. Instead of thrusting forward with the dagger, he decides to kick Rey in the chest because she's open. And why didn't you use your dagger, mate? She would have been dead. But no, I'll decide to kick and not use my weapon. I'm not holding a weapon. And then he stands there. Like he could have taken advantage. Rey was flat on her face, lightsaber to the side, and he decides to let her get up. Maybe that was an intimidation tactic. It's like, yes, I just booted you off your feet, and so let you struggle, because he's so overconfident in his ability to dominate his opponent. I can see that with an arrogant opponent, but if you're really wanting to press your advantage and you just kicked your opponent off their feet, you would stab down in their face, their head right away, and end the fight. And so Rey is really off guard here, and she just does some wild swings. This is actually where we see her training come back into the forefront. Remember that time when she was training in front of the Rock, and she does these stupid, wild baseball bat swings side to side? Well, you might think that these wild swings that she's about to do here is a result of her being off balance and intimidating, just trying to fend off her opponent. But no, she has trained this type of fighting before. This is her reverting to her training. See that wild overswing, like just hit her in the shoulder now. So after her two wild swings,
who taught these actors how to sword fight? Because like, I'm not the best,
double hit,
but
with
I know
his daggers.
more about sword fighting than these actors do.
I've been stressing the problem with telegraphing your hits and overswings, but I just really want everyone watching this to truly appreciate the significance of just telegraphing like this. Look at this, Imperial Guard. He has turned his body fully to the side, no weapon in front to protect himself. It's an open invitation to get hit. It's just so amateurish.
If Rey
actually struck instead of she's holding back, she's actually waiting
Pirates
for
of the
those
Caribbean
to
had
come in. You don't want to wait
sword
for
fighting
your
techniques.
If there's an opening, you want to strike in such a position that your strike will also block the attack from your opponent that you know is incoming. And not only do you know that it's coming in, you know how it's going to be coming in because they're telling you so clearly. So you can attack before they do that and block their incoming strike very easily because you know what's going to happen. But Rey doesn't do that. She waits for the attack coming in. Wait. Oh, now it's coming in. Now I'll come in and block. And it's a double hit. And then we switch to Kylo. So he was grabbing the guy's polearm, and then he brings his lightsaber up over on top and then down on the guy. Good, obviously. I mean, again, when people are in the bind or doing something, just move your weapon around the opponent's weapon to hit them where they're open. So, okay, he hit him. Did that kill him? Yeah, it looks like the guy is falling now. He's down. And, of course, this other guy with the